Black Friday is here and plugin companies are throwing out some wild deals left and right. So today I've picked out 5 of the most unique and interesting plugins that I think you should try out. Trust me when I say that these are not your average VSTs. And make sure you stay tuned for number 3 on this list because we're going to be doing a giveaway for that plugin and you definitely don't want to miss out on that. So let's dive straight into it. Okay, so first up we've got Virtual Pianist VOGUE. Now this caught my eye because I was browsing through Plugin Boutique and I saw that it was 92% off until December the 7th. I mean, £8 instead of £113 is absolutely insane. So I checked it out and it seemed something that was right up my street, and I have to say, I'm loving it so far. The first thing to note is that it's designed to help you when you want to add piano into your tracks. So basically you get all these interesting like fills and phrases and little chord things that you can just add into your beats. And you can see, you can choose the key signature. There's these different styles you can select, these different presets designed into different categories, and then you can affect the sound of the actual piano itself. So it's really interesting to add in some like technical bits that you could maybe not do yourself or didn't even think of. If I hold down just any of the notes, it'll do some interesting things. So that's just one note being held down. And then if I do a different left hand, it will change notes being played on the right. So that's in this one style. I can change it to something else, a taste of house. Attitude. So hopefully you get the idea. Like I said, it's essentially to help you add in piano parts to your tracks that you can't do yourself. So it's definitely something that will work well with like pop music, jazz. So far I'm yet to figure out how to use it as well in hip hop and things like that. But as someone that's into all genres of music myself, it's been really useful messing about and doing, you know, like ballad and rock and stuff like that. And even the small things you can do with it, the little trills and small accents, would come in useful, especially when making samples. Now, besides the actual cool part of the plugin, it's an instrument as well. So if you click this and switch to the instrument, it's just a normal grand piano. And yeah, you can mess around with the character so you get some different styles. And you can change between dark and light, and you can see how the graphics change, which is really cool. And then it's got some effects as well, so you can mess around with, you know, the chorus, some compression, phaser, and then ambience for basically reverb and delay. So as someone that uses piano as the foundation for a lot of my beats and samples, it's always nice to have like another piano besides Addictive Keys. And you can see here when you click up on VOGUE, they've got different VST sections essentially that you can also buy. So the next one I plan to check out is Vibe, which is going to be like warm electric pianos and Rhodes keyboards, which I'm a big fan of as well. But yeah, again, going back to the player, it's just a really cool feature. It's a really cool modern plugin, if that makes sense. And I think UJAM have done a great job with it. So yeah, definitely recommend checking this out. If you're someone that's into a lot of different genres, this is definitely a good shout. Next up, we've got Detuna from Dreamware Audio. This is a cool new plugin. It's currently got 20% off for Black Friday. It's really good, especially for like trap beats and wavy beats and anything with synthesizers, because it's all about unison. It's all about detuned sounds, warmth, texture, modulation. So you can get some really interesting effects on these synthesizers immediately just by going through presets. So let's go through some of them. You can see the interface is quite minimalist but really easy to use. So we click in here and we're going to have some presets. So we just go through like some key sounds. This is my favorite preset so far. If we go to pads, so you can hear there's a lot of modulation. I think detuning and modulation is the thing that comes to mind for every sound. So if you're someone that makes like Travis Scott type beats, Carti beats, weekend beats, anything with synths and anything with like detuned synths and a lot of movement in those synths, this plugin is really going to be perfect for you. So looking at what the interface can do, we've got this preset, and yeah, it's got the 4 knobs: unison, saturation, resonance, cutoff. I mean, if we just turn them all down, let's see what we can do with the sound. So cutoff, got the unison. Saturation. And resonance. Pretty cool, right? You can see here we've got the volume, pretty simple, and then on the right we've got the vibrato. And then yeah, within the screen we've got ADSR, so we can shape the sound as we need to, pretty standard. We've got an ARP feature as well inbuilt. So a lot of the time, if I want to do that same effect, I have to add in a third-party plugin like Shaperbox or KHS Gate. So it's always good to have that inbuilt. And then yeah, oscillators, so we can mess around with the waveforms. Pretty simple. So yeah, I've been having a lot of fun with this new plugin from Dreamware Audio. I really recommend it. Again, if you're making like trap beats, electronic sounding beats, anything with synthesizers, this is a really good synth to have in your arsenal. Let's record a little melody that we can use to show off some of the effects in the next plugin. We're just dragging a perk loop from my Genesis kit and a drum loop as well, just so we have something to record over. So next up, from our friends at Raccoon Audio, we've got the brand new plugin ManTube Fuzz. This is again another really unique and creative plugin from Raccoon Audio, who we covered in my previous plugin video, if you recall. That was Echosnack Delay, and that was a huge amount of fun to play with, and this one has been as well. So you can see it's brand new. Right now it's $49, down from $100, but also because of Black Friday until December the 8th, you can get an extra $20 off it. So now is perfect time for it. And also keep watching, because we'll do a giveaway if you want to win a copy of this plugin. So stay tuned, I'll explain how in a second. The main thing with this plugin, as all of their plugins have, is this crazy interface, which is a lot of fun. As a modern beat maker, I think it's cool to have plugins that are more interesting and engaging visually, and it just adds to the creative vibe that you get. Now, like their previous plugins, there's a lot of interesting nuances to this plugin that you can play with. So we're going to start off just putting it on this melody layer that we record with Detuna, and basically I'll show you what all of the different knobs and buttons do, and we can see how it shapes the sound and what kind of cool effects that we can get from it. So we'll start off with the big knob on electrified. This is where you can do like the most interesting changes, I think. If we turn the input up, so you can really distort the sound, really fuzz it up. Let's turn the drive up. And now the tilt. Now the speaker. So you see in boxy, it's very different to how it is when it's bright. So then supercharged, so it's a different type of distortion. Let's surge it. So yeah, really cool sounds that you get from it. To be honest, with any distortion plugin that I use, I've never really got sounds like that. Now, one of the key things that I think makes it really good is automation, because you can automate obviously all of these features. And when you start doing that, you realize the possibilities are endless. So let's automate this effect on our lead sound and see if we can make it as cool as possible. So you can see we've just messed about with different parameters while it's recording, and that just allows it to have a lot of movement, and now we can cut out the bits that we like. So that's a really easy way to use effect plugins like that. I love using automation on lead sounds like that. You can do a lot of cool things. Now I also want to hear how this sounds on the drum loop, so let's give that a go. Again, another cool effect. So obviously trying this on different layers, different instruments is going to give some really interesting results. Now, if you want to win a free copy of this plugin, ManTube Fuzz, as well as Echosnack Delay by Raccoon Audio, well, I've teamed up with them to give away a free license to both plugins. All you have to do is let me know in the comments which plugins you've got for Black Friday, which ones you're looking to get, which ones you're thinking about, and also put the word Raccoon in all capitals there, and you'll automatically be entered into the giveaway. And at the beginning of my next video, I'm going to do a random comment selector, and you could be the lucky winner of both plugins. So make sure you leave that comment down below to get your free entry into the giveaway. Now back to the video. Real quick, I'm also running a Black Friday offer on my Genesis kit with 75% off, so it's only going to cost you $5 to get some insane value. This is the perfect kit if you need inspiration making beats from scratch. So check it out. It's only lasting for a few weeks, but $5, I mean, you can't get much cheaper than that, so make sure you check it out. Okay, so next up we've got two really interesting and powerful plugins that have been sent to me by Lunacy Audio. First up, we've got Cube. Now this is a crazy VST that's got some really cool potential, especially if you're into sound design and again making interesting sounds, making sounds that you wouldn't get from just a normal instrument. First of all, you've got all these different packs with different soundscapes. You've got some really interesting themes with their packs more than anything. But yeah, going through the presets, it just sounds absolutely amazing, especially when you're making anything that's a bit different, like I said. When I'm making a new beat from scratch, usually I would start with a piano, but recently I've been starting off with one of these presets, and it's taken me in like a whole new direction of production, which is really cool. So yeah, really interesting presets off the bat. But then getting into the sound design aspect, I mean, looking at this interface, it's just unique and interesting, and it seems to make sound design more fun. You can see there's all these different buttons that do different things, and it's just really fun to play with. When it comes to any plugins, I'm not really technical. I don't like diving in and figuring out how to use things by reading the instructions. I like to just mess about, turning knobs, pressing buttons, and seeing what happens. So let's take this preset. It's like a piano. Let's see what these different things do. And you see the instructions at the bottom. It says controls the fade between dynamics. This macro tweaks multiple things. And then a standard filter. And then we've got this main thing in the middle, which is just really weird. You can see it's got all these different sounds being layered together. So we click in the top left one, we've got Lucille Piano. Let's go to sounds, and now we can edit this corner, and let's change it to something different. So now the whole sound has changed because we're blending in a different sound. And then of course, besides that, you've got some standard modulation that you can change. You've got some effects as well. And again, you can get unique and interesting with it, which is the whole point of this entire video. Let's find a preset that we can try and layer something with the rest of the beat that we got going on. So Cube is a lot of fun to play with. I definitely recommend it. And at the moment, you can see it's $49 down from $149. So there's no better time to grab it. Now, the next plugin, once again from Lunacy Audio, is Beam. And this is an effects plugin that is just so cool. I can't even begin to explain how much fun I've been having with this since I got it. So this is Beam 2.0. You can see it's a creative effects playground. And again, the whole point of it is to add interesting effects to your sounds, but do it in a visually creative way, a way that makes it fun and, like it says, like a playground where you're trying to experiment and find new things basically. So again, let's put Beam onto that lead melody track, and we'll just mute ManTube Fuzz for now so we can hear this properly. So we start off with this beam of light, and you can see at the bottom add effects. So once you click that, you can add the different modules. So they all do different things. Most of them are pretty self-explanatory, but then to add them in, you just drag them onto the beam, and you can drag them in different places, and you can switch the order. And then when it's on the beam, you can click into the orb and change different settings depending on what that module is essentially. And one thing that's important to mention is that you can also add these modules individually. They all come as their own plugins now, which means you can just use one of them instead of the entire plugin, which is useful if you just want to pinpoint one effect essentially. But let's start off by going through some presets. As usual, we want to see what's available there before we get into the more nitty gritty. So we can see how they're organized here. Start off with A Grain of Truth. So this one definitely gives like Portal vibes. It's got those sort of interesting effects. And you can see the names of the people that have made these presets. A lot of them are very recognizable. Of course, Venus Theory, very well known. Let's try Subtle Magic. So let's see how this one is made, because this is sounding so good. So we've got Space, which is obviously going to be a reverb thing. When we go into it, you can see there's a lot of nuance to what you can do with it. And like I mentioned before, I'm not really technical when it comes to plugins. I'm more of a vibe beat maker, which some of you may not like, but it is what it is. So when it comes to all of these different things, most of the time I'm just going to squiggle things, but you can see there's already movement going on. So things are just changing constantly. So we've got another space up here. We've got a filter down here. So pretty easy to understand. Grains, some weird stuff going on there. And then we've got another filter here. We can see down in the bottom left, we've got LFOs, LFO 1, 2, 3, and then envelope as well. We've got macro in the bottom right corner. We've got mix at the top. I'm just going to automate the mix on this layer actually with this preset because it's sounding so good. Start off at 0 and then just have it slowly increase. Now, they've recently released 2 new effect modules for Beam. It's called Taps and Portals with Ben Jordan. And you can see it's essentially about echo and delay. So it mentions bold new ways to echo. It's going to be a way to get creative delays and feedback going in, which is really cool. Again, when you're making like trippier psychedelic stuff, which is right up my street. And you can see right now the module is down at $29 instead of $59. So again, it's a good time to get it, especially because you can also bundle it with Beam and all the other collabs with Ben Jordan in this limited time bundle at $69. So well worth checking out at this moment in time, I'd say. So on the cube layer, let's try out Beam Taps. Taps has its own module. Portal has to be done within the main Beam plugin, I believe. Pretty trippy. You could probably go to another dimension with a plugin like this. Should we try it on the drums and see if anything cool happens? Bloody hell, that's so cool. Let's automate that on and off as well. Like I've been saying, automation for plugins is literally a game changer. So yeah, not much else to say. Beam is really a lot of fun and you get some really good sounding effects from it. Obviously, we're all used to using things like Shaperbox, RC20, Portal, all these different multi-effects plugins, but this is one that not only sounds amazing, not only does it look visually interesting, you've got this really cool sense of control and, you know, linking together, daisy chaining all these different effects, which I think is really awesome. So you definitely want to check this out. Now let's put this all together and see what the beat sounds like. So these are 5 unique and interesting plugins that I recommend checking out, especially while they're discounted for Black Friday. And if you want a chance to win ManTube Fuzz and Echosnack Delay by Raccoon Audio for free in the giveaway, make sure you leave that comment down below, just letting me know what plugins you've looked at, which ones you've got, which ones you're thinking of getting for Black Friday, and you'll be entered into the giveaway, which will be done in the intro of my next video. And in the meantime, if you want to check out my favorite new plugins of 2025, check out this video right here.